Hello everyone, welcome to Wealthy Mindset. My name is Oliver. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys are having a great day. And today I'm going to be going over BlackBerry and GameStop, specifically in terms of what's going to be the highs and lows using graph analysis, etc., etc. Now, keep in mind though, BlackBerry is a value play and GameStop is a short squeeze play. And if you want to know why I think BlackBerry is an undervalued stock and why I'm giving a price target of $180 in the future one day, there's a video I posted, should pop up somewhere here soon, and I'm going to get to it. So before I get to it, just FYI disclaimers, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a professional, so do your own research, your own due diligence, and don't buy and sell based off of my opinion. Form your own opinion based off what you find. I do own shares in BlackBerry and been holding for 6 years, so just an FYI. I'm going to get to it. So before I start with BlackBerry and GameStop, this is the Dow Jones. So we did end up going down this major resistance support line. Even though it's not acting 100% support, it's mainly resistance. I'm going to have a legend here explaining the colors, like what they represent. This is actually the wrong color. So, and then by the way, just FYI, diagonal lines are both resistance and support. I just kept them red though. So we could technically bounce off in terms of the 30,308 price point. If we do go lower, then I guess I didn't necessarily account for that. Probably it would be we would probably break the $30,000 mark, but I don't really see that. I think we're going to end up going back to the support line and hopefully bounce back to this major, like not major support line, but this support line. Let's see, where is it? Bounce back to this support line right here. That's happening, right? So we'll see how it ends up happening throughout the day. But that's the whole spiel right now. So I think we might end up finishing green, maybe. But I don't think we're going to end up too much red, to be honest. But anything can happen. Nobody knows for sure, just FYI. Now I'm going to start off with BlackBerry, then I'm going to go to GameStop right after that. So we're following this trend line up. We opened up, I believe it was pretty strong, which was pretty awesome. But then we ended up dropping. But we're still on this trend line up. There's a chance. So there's a couple things could happen. We could be between this resistance level and the trend line up, going up as a support level, and we could just basically end up closing the day basically close to $18. But if we see massive growth, because we're pretty much on the brink of the average line, the moving average line, and the MACD line is positive. For the Dow Jones, the MACD line was a little bit in the negative, so it could technically close. It will probably close negative for the day, the Dow Jones, but I don't expect it to go down that much. The other day I said plus or minus 2%. It ended up becoming 2%. I thought it was going to close at 1.8% negative, but I did say plus or minus 2%, either positive or negative. So there was that. So again, nobody knows for sure, but we're riding up on this trend line. There's a chance you could see the price points, by the way, as I'm moving it. I think we're just basically going to go up and down, and then just close at 18. But if anything happens crazy, like for example, if the Reddit community and all that stuff, WallStreetBets, and people start jumping in because they want to and support, we could have a spike up. And if we have a spike up, then technically we could go up to a $20 price at $20.40 and go somewhere between $20 and $21 back and forth. I drew these trend lines, resistance lines pretty bad right now. Technically this is it. So it's somewhere between $20 to $21. If it gets crazy, like catabolic, we could get to $23, right? People are trying to want it to get up to 30. It's going to be difficult because this trend line dates back to, if you watch my previous videos, I went over it already. It dates back to the dot-com bubble, right? So at $23.40 right there, dot-com bubble. And then the other day when we hit $29, $28, right? Or almost 29, I think. It was $28.77, you can see right here. This dates back to 2004, 2005. We need to pass that $20 price tag, specifically hit $30, because you see this moving average right here. It's at the 28.27. Again, if you've seen my previous videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. I will do a deep dive analysis again for BlackBerry and the Dow Jones in separate videos. So if you're interested in that, consider subscribing so you can know when I upload that video. So yeah, it looks like we're doing pretty good going on in this uptrend. Now, if we do break this uptrend and we don't do what I just said with the upside, we have a support level, a pretty big one, decent one at the $13.69. That was pretty much tested. I didn't think it was going to be a good support level the other day when I mentioned as in terms of support levels. So I thought potentially if we ended up breaking the $16 price tag, yeah, I did have those price tags or support levels in there, but I thought, I was like, oh man, we might head to the $12 price tag. So the good thing is though, I don't think we're gonna head into $12. So we have $12 support level, right? We have the 1384 support level, and then technically we have this one too, the 1475-ish, 1450 support level. Keep in mind though, when I say support levels, it doesn't mean that it will just touch that exactly. Like for example, so those are basically how low they could go. It just FYI. So I'm done with basically BlackBerry right there. If you have any questions though, let me know down below. So that way I can include them for the future video if you guys want more specific dives. I might come back to BlackBerry a little bit more towards the end. But I just want to say a point kind of thing is, for example, yesterday or 2 days before, I can't remember, I said the lowest GameStop could go hypothetically was the $130 mark. I can't remember. But if you watch the video, it was like 140 to 130, and mainly I was sticking to 130. But it did, it already moved. Okay, so it did hit $120 technically. Let me see if I could get it right about there, $120. But if you looked at the day actual chart, it hit for like a second $112, it looks like, because when it when there's so much volume and it drops rapidly, don't worry about if it passes just a little bit. It could be a false breakout, like you see right here, that line right there, it just breaks out a little bit. It could be a false breakout to the either upside or downside. So just use these trend lines or these support lines or resistance lines as just guidelines. They're not like exactly to the dollar or to the cent, right? They're just give or take, especially when you see massive moves like these. These are dramatic moves. That's a steep drop right there, right? So we have a major support line right here, so that's a good thing. We had a support line right here, but it already broke it, which kind of sucks. It dropped down to the moving average area. We have, I believe, a support line right here. That's why it's probably hovering. It's not really that strong. So what could happen is, actually, wait, it's right here. This is the real support line. So the support line is at the $300 mark. It's probably going to gradually get down to their $300 mark. If it's worst case scenario, to be honest, I think you could see the 273. So these are the support lines. The 273. There's another one at the 250, 249 right here. This line is technically should have been drawn more, right? And then if it drops more, you're looking at 203. And then, to be honest, I don't think this is in play anymore. If it is in play, it's a saving grace. It's $130. The reason I say saving grace is because of the last resort. But this is a major support line. I don't think we'll get lower than 163, 164 today. You could technically say 160, but somewhere between there. It goes up, obviously. Keep that in mind, though. So I'm going to move it up if you want to really play it in slow motion and check it out. But that's throughout the day. But that's worst case scenario. So these are the support lines. Again, you can see them all right here on the side. I'm just going through them right now. But the way I'm thinking GameStop is going to play out today in terms of the upside, and I'm going to cover the downside. It looks like usually I want it to say, like, I'm usually the way I analyze graphs, but this one's different. The GameStop is obviously strange, like not strange, but like completely different than other stocks because there's a community backing it up and trying to do a short squeeze, right? So it's really hard to read. Again, I'm not a professional. Do your own due diligence, own research, inform your own opinions. But I keep thinking that when they create a high, that the next day they're going to try to balance to that high because of the community support. But what they end up doing, and it doesn't look like today yet, but they break a new high, and that new high is $100 difference. So given that, and given the previous high day, 493, 483, I guess it says here, which it's weird how the graph is saying it, then the new high would be 580, 590, and then it would drop back down. So if it did drop back down, it would drop back down to a 394-ish, 340 kind of thing. But if it doesn't do that, then what would happen is, hypothetically, it'll be on this trend line right here. So it's $300. It's hovering around that $300. Maybe drop down to even 290, or if it drops down real fast, 273. And then I'm thinking it's going to go back up and probably hit 375. And if anything, 466 and 480, 490, and then come back to the support level at the end of the day at 350, I would say, 350. Worst case scenario, actually not even worst case scenario, I think potentially it could by the end of the day. Where is this thing? Because it has the time stuff at the bottom. Where is it? 21. At 21 it ends. So oh wow. Okay, so both these support lines pretty much meet. So we could be ending the day at the 350, 340. Again, nobody knows. So do your own research and due diligence. And I believe that's pretty much it. I was thinking to come back to BlackBerry, but I don't think, for the most part, I think we're pretty much safe for BlackBerry, by the way. In terms of $13.72, I don't think we're going to go lower, or $14.65. But again, for the upsides, like I already stated, I think those are pretty much what's going to happen. There is a support level at the 16.16. So actually, if you want to bank on like trying to entering, and you're like, oh, maybe I might not have a chance, and like what Oliver said in terms of like the low levels, those are not going to happen. You could probably hold out to 16.16 or 16.05 or something. Again, keep in mind, I'm a long-term investor, so I don't really day trade at all. So if anything, I'll probably end up like selling on one point and then like getting in like a few months later. But my main plan is just to hold on for the long term. So I don't really care for these, but it's nice for the long-term investors to actually see what's happening. So for example, you can analyze for the 5 years or like the whole entire graph and all that stuff and see the trajectory. Again, I'm going to do the breakdown of a major breakdown for BlackBerry and the Dow Jones. So again, if you're interested in that, consider subscribing. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. FYI, again, this is for January 28th. I'm going to try to post these daily, hopefully to help you guys out. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Really appreciate it. If you have any questions, comment down below. Also, I'm going to be posting a video later on today, sometime in the afternoon, explaining what happened yesterday and why it's significant and why technically adds more fuel to the fire in terms of potential growth. But yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good. So if you want to see that too, consider subscribing because of that too. Thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys later on. Peace.